So this is as far as I went to, somewhere between mile 16 and mile 17 above Cameron Lake. Came in from the west, and now I'm going to head back west toward the creek trestles and eventually get to Summit Lake. This tree is one of the largest fallen trees on the track between mile 17 and mile 21. I'm traveling westward between mile 17 and mile 18 on the Port Alberni Subdivision. This is one of the overgrown areas. Keep in mind that it's June, so this is the height of the growing season. However, this is an accumulation of growth. And I'm walking right down the middle of the rail line. You can't really see the rails, but they are there. And occasionally I can see the ties. Every once in a while here I get glimpses of Cameron Lake, so I know I'm at the west end of Cameron Lake. But I haven't seen an actual mile post marker since mile 19, I think. But I'm past the mile 17.5 bridge, and I've gone enough time past it to know that I'm probably less than mile 17. Hey-oh. Some of these are kind of fun to figure your way around. There's usually an obvious path like this, as long as you remember to duck. Here's a spot where you'd think there'd be a rock slide. Currently, there has been before, but it's been good for the last few years here, which is kind of surprising. Although, further on up here, there are a few rocks. And it's a sunny day, so here we come into the sun for a bit, or at least a little bit of the sun. Here's a trail. Interesting sign for the trail. And it goes up the slope. It's one of the ways to Mount Horn, I'm assuming. There's a few trails that come up from Cathedral Grove area to the railway. And then I think the route uses the railway line for a bit. And then there's a few spots where it goes then above the railway line on its way to Mount Horn. So here's a spot where there obviously has been rock slides in the past. There's moss-covered rocks on the bottom side of the slope. But nothing too bad currently. Again, that's good. Here's the reason for the slope, for the rock slide. Here's a windfall that's typical of this area between mile 17 and mile 18. Seen a lot of these today. Along here it's kind of hard to tell if this is a path or a rail line, other than the rail is visible and the ties barely visible. But this is a nice corridor for walking. It'd be nicer if we had trains. Here's where a trail from down below in Cathedral Grove comes up to meet the rail line. Lots of good markers, flags. Just show you a bit of how steep this is. I don't really like hills on hiking, and I don't really like that. That's why I like rail walking. It's flat. So for people taking the route from below at Cathedral Grove up to Mount Horn, they would be on the rail line here walking. In fact, I've seen a couple W signs for the railway, whistle signs, at some of these trail crossings. So when the rail line was active, they obviously knew where the people might be that were hiking. Here comes one of the larger boulders that I've seen on this stretch today. By the way, I'm heading back, so I've seen all of this already this morning, which is why I know what's coming up. Amongst the weeds is this. And there's more. And really it comes from way up, I think. It's a nice treed slope. There's a look back. Here's a bit of the Port Sub jungle. Again, this is June everything is growing, but it's also the accumulation of the last few years of growth that hasn't gone checked. The good thing about walking on the rails is you don't have to try to figure out your path. You just know you keep going along the grade. Here's another typical small windfall. You just have to work your way around and remember to duck and make sure your pack doesn't get caught. Hey-oh! Here's another spot where historically you can tell have been a lot of rock falls. There's small rocks on the track, but nothing big. That's your typical guy. Hey-oh! Here you can see some fresh rockfall, well, from the last couple of years. Here's another spot where there's been rockfalls in the past, in the distant past and recent past. And they're still falling down. Hey-oh! Hey-oh! This one will be a little bit interesting. Hey-oh. Here's an example. It's cut well so you can pass while walking, but not for a train or a rail car. There's rocks and trees and rails. Well, that one was fun. That's what it looks like. Traveling westward, coming up to the mile 17.5 trestle, as I can hear the creek. Hey!